Hello again, a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Deni Kay and I'm here today with a bottle of the Macallan Rare Cask. As you can see, it comes in a very nice and what you may even call grand box. If you fancy a read, you can read about Macallan's 6 pillars on the rear of this box. The bottle itself is almost what we would expect to find of a higher end modern Macallan. And metal stopper, nice little clink sound there. So if those things are important to you, it ticks that box. Now, also bottled at 43% ABV. It is made up of predominantly first fill American oak and European oak sherry casks, and according to the little write-up on the rear label, it is made up of less than 1% of the casks that make up Macallan's cask inventory. I'm not sure exactly what that is supposed to mean, or if it's supposed to be impressive or drum up the fact that this is a rare whiskey. I really don't care because it is a very, very nice whiskey. It is something that took me by surprise. I'll get to that in a moment. The color itself is an attractive, dark copper to mahogany. Now, there is no message on here about chill filtration, natural color, anything along those lines. I'm going to skip that bit and I'm going to go straight back to the whiskey, right? It's Macallan. They quite simply just don't state it. There's no age statement stated on this. It is quite simply that. It retails for just under $500 a bottle. And it's taken me, or took me by surprise, because the very first time I nosed it, there was something that I did not expect to find, and that is, if you have had an old school sherry matured whiskey, one of the things that you do find is that dusty, musty type of feel, right? That dunnage. You do not get that, or at least I don't tend to find that in a lot of modern day Macallan at all. However, it's absolutely present in here, so not exactly sure the age of the casks or where they found them from. Well, I guess where they found them from, you can kind of get a bit of get some of that information if you have a bit of read up, because they do talk about their cask management program or system, but the age and those sorts of things you don't know because it doesn't state it on the bottle. But there is some absolutely delicious stuff in here because this is a very nice whiskey. On the nose, apart from what I just mentioned there, you're getting some fruits, right? There's some dried fruits, some raisins, some prunes, also some dried figs, some oranges. The oranges are an orange syrup, orange liqueur. There are cherries, apricots, plums. The plums are blood plums and also Angelina plums. You are also getting some pink apples, red apples, chocolate, a little bit of leather, a little bit of coffee, some underlying smoke, and also something I love. A note that I love in whiskey is eucalyptus. Anytime I find something like eucalyptus, menthol, even mint in whiskey, something I absolutely adore. Now, you may notice I did not mention anything in regards to spice on the nose because it's not there. There is some pepper there. Followed by the pepper, there's nuts. It's almond, it's hazelnut, chocolate, orange. It's a bit of chocolate. It's a bitter orange. It's a bit of chocolate, bitter orange. Also, syrupy orange. Some burnt toffee. It is creamy. It is rich. Also, some of the apple that I mentioned earlier is there with some underlying smoke. It is a medium finish. There's also some honey in there. It's 43% ABV. I don't necessarily think that needs a lot of water, but I know that with just a tiny bit of water, there's a rather interesting note on the nose, right? I mentioned a little bit of leather earlier, but this is new leather. So when I say new leather, what I mean is if you've just gone out, bought yourself a brand new pair of leather shoes, you open up the box, new leather smell. That's what I mean by new leather. The fruit is still there. On the nose, nuts, hazelnut, almond, raw cashew nut. Underlying smoke, still there as well. Orange syrup, honey. Really lovely nose. The thing that I love, as soon as you add just a tiny bit of water, I mentioned some pepper there before, it's gone. So, beautiful thing about it is, if you like sherry matured whiskey where you're not really getting a lot of spice, no pepper, ginger, clove, or anything along those lines, it's very minimal with this, right? It is very rich, it's decadent, full, a very lovely whiskey. I mentioned before the fruits, I mentioned the nuts, I mentioned some of that burnt toffee, underlying smoke. You're getting all of that, right? This for me is an 8.5 out of 10. This for me, even at the price point, is a recommend. I would recommend this whiskey. I absolutely do think that it is worth the money. It tastes very, very nice. I will say, I'll say one other thing before I wrap up, right? It is very difficult to be able to find whiskies now, modern whiskies, that have that old school sherry style vibe, quality that is there. This has it. I get it. It's almost $half a grand a bottle. So yes, you know, you're paying a premium. It's not a cheapie, right? But unless you're able to find an absolutely fantastic batch or cask in terms of an independent bottler, or you're spending your dollars on something that was actually distilled and then bottled from yesteryear, you're not going to find that. You're not going to find it in a modern day Macallan, or not in a lot of modern day Macallans, unless of course you're buying some of the higher end. I get it. I'm going to keep on rambling, which I don't want to do, right? So as I said, it's nice, 8.5 out of 10. I'd recommend it. We're going to leave it there, right? So thank you very much once again. Cheers to you. Till next time.